We want you to hear a little bit, we were talking about Sarah Palin earlier, of what she said in Nashville this weekend at the Tea Party convention, and we'll talk about it with Margaret CARLSON in just a moment. Take a listen.
Remember Vice President Biden? He was put in charge of a tough, unprecedented oversight effort. That's how it was introduced. You know why? Because nobody messes with Joe. This was all part of that hope and change and transparency, and now a year later, I gotta ask those supporters of all that, how's that hopey, changey stuff working out for you?
Ah, yes, the hopey, changey stuff. We're now joined by Margaret CARLSON of Bloomberg News and The Week. Thank you very much for being here.
David.
We appreciate
Hi, Karen.
it. This Sarah Palin weekend I found pretty fascinating because it seemed to me, first of all, back on the campaign trail, no longer just posting Facebook messages up in Alaska and talking to Fox News, but it seemed to me she was trying to, I don't know, move Palin Inc. in a new direction for 2010. Did you perceive that at all? Or?
Really, from our Facebook to our America, she came out for the first time. What we need to see is, does this make her less a celebrity and more a political figure, or is she going to stay or try to stay in the celebrity mode so we don't ask her any questions that she can look at her hand and not find an answer to? If you're a political celebrity, you get away with a lot. You don't really have to take positions on things you're not interested in. I doubt that she'd have a position on Fred Hochberg's trade or export policy. When you're an actual political candidate, you have to have opinions on all kinds of things you're not that interested in, or you wish you didn't have to take a position. And that may come along with her sticking her toe into the water of, I'm not ruling out running for president.
How long can she do this? How long can she continue to be a celebrity on the campaign trail and not the candidate?
Her own party might exercise some discipline here in that Mitt Romney doesn't get away with what she gets away with. And there are Republicans who aren't enthused about her remaining the main person that the media focuses on. So intra-party discipline might force her to be a more serious person, if not intra-party competition from other likely candidates.
It's a really good point. You can't imagine they're going to wait that long without letting her just sort of hang in that celebrity space. I want to turn your attention, if I can, to healthcare for a moment. The president surprised me, I will say, when I was watching the interview with Katie Couric.
You were surprised, David, by something?
But he laid out a new roadmap, this idea of bringing Republicans in, doing this in a bipartisan fashion. But again, not until after President's Day recess. This healthcare is now squarely going to be part of the full second-year agenda, perhaps as much as it was as the first, it seems.
Well, it shows a commitment, doesn't it? Because it doesn't seem politically smart to do it that way. Maybe he can pull it out. Republicans made the health care bill so ugly, even its supporters didn't like it anymore. He has to reverse that. And I've seen him do it a couple of times recently where he pulls out the parts of it that make sense. And he does something else, which he did at the Baltimore retreat. He shows how those parts can't be isolated. Republicans say, oh, great, no pre-existing conditions, but they don't put in the other part, which is you have to have universal coverage to make that make economic sense. Now, the Republicans understand that because they understand business, but they don't want to acknowledge it.
So when they all sit down on February 25th, the president, the Democrats, the Republicans, what can actually come out of this? Is this just going to be a photo op for the TV cameras, or can there actually be some sort of substantive moving forward in the dialogue that day?
Well, I'm an optimist. If you see it, you know, nobody explains it better than the president, which is a shame that President Baucus was out there all year long as the face of the health care bill. He's pulling it back. Maybe he can explain it, put it together in a way, because if you went to those Republican constituencies and said, this is what we, the Democrats, wanted to give you, but Republicans didn't, and they understand it, I don't think they'll like that. And by the way, the cuts to Medicare, remember, Newt Gingrich shut down the government over not cutting Medicare. And now, cut Medicare? How dare you?
Oh, how times have changed. Margaret CARLSON of Bloomberg News and The Week, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, David.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Karen.
That does it for this edition of Top Line. Be sure to join us again tomorrow.
Thanks so much for watching.
Take care.
That was it.